There it is.
Who got the assist?
The left back maybe? Might be Matt Ritchie.
Yeah.
Should be a good game actually.
I think it was Matt Ritchie.
Oh yeah.
It was right across from the left corner flag.
Right.
Just one of those drifting crosses where it looked like no one was ever going to win the header, and then there's the guy at the back post just boom.
Boom.
Nailed it.
Oh, yeah, we've got some more here.
Haven't done one of these in years.
I know, it's been on. You're on the jingle, like, you're on the intro.
I still made it, yeah.
Nothing like never updating the intro.
Oh, why change the jingle from with the cuts from the very first episode when you can?
The whole Liam Kumar Day effect, not really happened.
Nigel couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I rang up Mendon all, he said he could make it.
Don't dig this hole. Phil, credit to the guy, he always manages to do well what he has, but he is a shocking person on that. You guys got a trophy? No.
It was pre-bit.
Nah, my life from Rashad Mendon.
Right, you go. Cancel. I'm a tag, Jack. I'm a fucking tag.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the LOC Report, and as you can see, it's a crowded episode. We unfortunately...
Can we see us?
Yeah, you're on camera there, don't worry. Everyone can see you.
In that stamp in the corner.
Half the league is obviously in this room, so time will tell if we have any viewers, but it doesn't matter. We can have a nice chat all the same. Welcome everyone.
Chris better be watching at home.
Yeah.
I did ask if he wanted...
nothing better to do.
Yeah, I did ask if he wanted to join virtually, no reply, so...
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah,
Solid draft prep. 2
Yeah.
weeks of isolated draft.
That's it, so yeah. But so yeah, no, we're going to have a good show today. We did have the division lining event today. So, should we just get into the news and then into the pod, guys?
Straight in.
Yeah, alright, there it is. The league news. Yeah, so the main thing now is, in terms of news, the LOC draft, 4th of September, do not forget. It'll be sometime after 2 PM. We're waiting on one member to clarify when we can do it, but that's fine. They can remain anonymous. And make sure you pay your subs, obviously, if you haven't already. I believe Viv or you
I might
did it.
have sneaked it in. Yeah.
I think Ollie did it too, actually.
I'm just negotiating with Klarna. I'm going to pay you in instalments.
That's fine if they're willing to send the 4. You can arrange whatever you want with them. So please pay your £4 subs. Obviously Division 1 event did happen today. So news-wise, don't think there's anything else LSC. Hall of Fame voting's done now. We did get the votes from everyone eventually. So we'll get the pennant awarded. Draft video's all done. Corona Bowl logo's all done. So
I've heard rumours Ross has put out something a bit special for his interview, so
it's going to be
one
a good
not to miss. Really,
you'll all be glad to hear it's not the 20-minute video of last year. It's a much more palatable 12 minutes.
solid.
Still a lot of content.
But far less editing for me to do other than that, compared to Chris's, but that was good. So, those are the main news items, so we'll just go on straight to the main body of the show, and let's just start with the division lining event, because it did only happen mere hours ago. Of course, it was Coach Nunn's turn to decide what we did. He did choose a bowls challenge, I guess, or a bowls games sort of games. So the premise was that, as we found out earlier, the 2 people who scored the most points between the 2 games we played would go into the Southampton and Portsmouth division, and then the 3rd division member was decided by a 2-words challenge, which is
a memorable event, I would say.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. And then those 3 then choose who's in their division in a snake sort of draft. So, starting with the 2 games, what did you think of the bowls games? It was pretty good fun.
Yeah, different.
Bowls was pretty fun for the first time.
Yeah, bowls is good fun. Yeah,
it was good fun.
Me and Viv obviously, we did it a lot more than I did, but I did it back in school a bit as well, and I found it good fun.
Yeah, I think it's something that, we're getting our practice in early. Later in life, I think we'll be back for
LOC Bowls coming up.
Who knows if the league will still be running into our retirement.
This league will be here long after we're gone. Don't be silly. Come on.
Our kids going to be like taking on our teams.
Yeah, it's like an inheritance at this point.
Pass them on to the eldest son.
Yeah, that's a real dynasty league.
I think Ross will unfortunately not be getting my dad's signature at the LOC Bowls Club though, because he said to me it was far too slow paced for him. He prefers golf. So there you go. So this is
a rapid game like golf.
It's a fair comment. It's a fair comment. But no, the first two games were fun, and the 2-wood challenge that we did, where you had the jack. And then the closest bowl, without hitting the jack, stayed on, and whoever had the closest bowl was the winner. Or hitting the... it was without hitting the jack, wasn't it? So
yeah, I think the jack, which is like the ball that we have to aim our ball at, for those uninitiated from our bowls.
As you can tell, we're pretty pro at this stage. The ball that you go for.
The big ball has to get close to the small ball. And then Ross, the expert that he is, was running the whole show until... in what can only be described as, quite Hollywood, dramatic fashion. Some would say, like, akin to Tom's comebacks in many a season past. Out of nowhere, some would say.
Will it be inducted?
Everyone would say.
Question, will it be nominated for the Hall of Fame now?
It may be. I haven't got anything better.
So, see how the season goes, just kicking the barrel.
But it was a great shot, and that sealed your third place in the division. So, in the Winchester division. So then after that, it was obviously down to each of Ross, who won, obviously, based on points, even though he only played. Well, he played a bit. And then Ollie, you came second in the points between the games.
I think that was solid. Ollie, that was a solid
performance. I got all my points on one go.
Yeah, but
that's the rules of the game.
They all count. And then Tom, obviously, in the Winchester division for the 2 bowls challenge. So, starting off the top of the draft, I believe Ross went first, didn't he? He chose to draft Pat into his division, Southampton. Ollie then went next, and you drafted me into the Pulse division.
Get the weak teams out early, classic.
Yeah, we'll come back, since we've got one of the teams that chose, so we'll come back and get a bit under the hood. Why? Analysis. Actually, we've got 2, sorry. Tom chose Ollie. Tom chose... no one cares about the Winchester.
Just reflecting how undeserved it was.
The Hall of Fame vote is not going your way.
Someone had to pick,
Ollie G going to Tom then, and then with the snaking back, you also took Chris. Then Ollie in the middle took the newbie Dave Henderson, which means then Ross had the double header, so he chose Viv and my dad. Ollie took Mike on the way back, which left Tom with Ben. So the divisions read, and we'll come back to these in a second. So Southampton is Ross, Pat, Viv, and my dad. Portsmouth division is Ollie, me, Dave Henderson, and Mike. And then Winchester is Tom, Ollie G, Chris, and Ben. Before we get into looking at the divisions themselves, let's peek under the hood. We'll start with you, Ollie. Why did you select myself, Dave H, and Mike?
So, to be fair, think about it. I don't think there's actually any weak teams now. Phil was always everyone's first target.
It was also on my team, so technically you're still you're still adhering to that.
I don't know. Chris has won it the last few years. I didn't want him. Ben's just Ben, and there's far too many spreadsheets for my liking. And then, it's always good to get us back in the same. We've not been in the same division.
No, it's been a long while since it would have been.
I can't remember.
Could it possibly have been before? Well, until we got rid of rookies and veterans. Because
I actually can't think the last.
I don't think we have shared a division in a long time. So no, it's nice. Yeah, Dave's the newbie, and obviously Mike's not been hit.
Yeah, Dave's the newbie. I was like, you know what, he can play other leagues.
As soon as I told you he had the Eagles tattoo, that was it.
Yeah, that was more a thing, wasn't it? I've just had to, and then.
Does it?
Yeah, he's a big old Eagles fan.
Oh man.
So you've got a fellow Eagle. And
I'm not. I don't have that level of passion really.
Yeah, come on,
where's it?
Come on. So and then so Tom, Ollie G.
I think going back a long way, always just want to beat Ollie, basically. That's the aim. Probably won't, but always the aim.
And then obviously Chris you picked, but Ben fell into your lap as well. But that works quite nicely as well. Why did you choose Chris?
I believe I accused Chris of being all talk, so we'll see how that goes down.
You're taking advantage of him being on the COVID list himself, so might not be fresh coming into the season.
Yeah, got to provide some lateral flows before the draft. Otherwise, no picks. Be a good lead.
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, let's start with the Winchester division in terms of looking at it. So effectively, you've got 2 very long-running friendships in this division between yourself and Ollie Gardner and Ben and
you and Ben and Chris and Ollie.
Chris, which is the friendship. So no, but that's a pretty hot division. I mean, you've got a 2-time champion there in Tom, you've got a 2-time champion there in Chris, and you've got another champion there in Ben. Ollie Gardner is the only odd one out there.
Lol.
Yeah. Tough division to hit.
I have no comment.
Right.
Your numbers are correct.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's, if no one else has anything to add to that, we'll go on to the Portsmouth. Yeah. Well, in the Portsmouth division, it has so again, Gridiron Gang, Napolitans. Even though Dave is actually no, I won't out. I'll let him do that. But Detonators and Bucking the Trend. So a few Corona Balls kicking around here, 2 for Ollie and 1 for myself. But then two relative newbies as well. What do we make of the Portsmouth division?
We don't really know much about Dave. It's a bit of an unknown.
Yeah, he's never been in I don't think he's ever been in a league like ours. I mean, there are a few like
the thing is, though, you get so many leagues of I've done leagues before, and then they go, why aren't some people taking quarterbacks in like the first round?
Yeah.
So, and it's, I think our league's a bit different, that everyone kind of knows each other as well.
It's very rare to find a league where everyone is solidly hard. Not everyone's a hardcore player, but everyone is.
Most people, at least 80 or 90% of the league on each season.
You can name the one. We all know the one.
Auto. But yeah, so I think as much as I'm not doubting that he's done up the leagues and whatnot, but it's more.
You're right, because when you're up against opposition that are also on it every week, and you can't get the same guys that you might be able to.
If you do a league on the NFL website, you can not look at it and in week 8 pick up all the starters who weren't starters in the preseason.
Yeah.
And they're just all there because everyone goes, oh, that's not my main league, I can't be bothered in it. Or
indeed, yeah.
They just forget about it.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting but all of these teams really have been, well, obviously Dave's the newbie, but in terms of probably obviously the most recent winner here, but you've come off a couple of down seasons as well.
What's the final last year?
True.
I came second.
True. Yeah,
the down season, Ollie. You ain't near nothing.
Play the wild card.
The final with that team.
True. No, you had a good year last year. But it was sketchy at some point. You obviously made your win.
How I made it to the final, I've got no idea.
I
had Jeff Wilson and Tony Pollard in the
I think I
don't
know if you watched the review show last week with Chris, but he obviously commented on how the hell you managed to beat him in week 15 with everything going on. So no, definitely a good coaching effort. But obviously Mike's team. Mike still yet to make the playoffs, I don't believe.
He's always done all right.
Yeah, and he was close. He was very close last year. And then obviously my team had a better year last year, but quite a few years in the wilderness as well. So a lot going on in the Portsmouth division, and then the Southampton division. Then so we've obviously got Ben SSD's the dream team, Ross's team, and Pakistan. Again, this is an interesting division for a number of reasons. So you've got again 2 Corona Bowl winners in here. We have the current champion in Ross, and we have the first champion. So the first and last champion in my dad. But then we have a very experienced coach in yourself, Viv, where you've obviously made the playoffs a number of times as well, and then Pat.
Pat has a nice logo.
He's winning the logo battle in the division. So what do we make of the Southampton division?
I think, if Ross gets an auto draft team, I think I'm in bad shape here. But if he shows up, I think he's coming home.
What are the chances of him showing up and still auto draft?
I'd say very high.
Yeah, he just well, I mean, if he's there in person, technically the clock would just expire, and we're not making his pick for him if he's there. So,
So we need to pin him down, not let him leave, and
it'll be quite
he won't want to pick anyone, and that's the route we're going for.
It'll be quite a long draft because obviously he will default behind a pick, and then he'll get a pick again, and then he'll default on that one. So we may be there a while.
It's going to have the final pick of round 15, like every pick in round 15.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
No, but another interesting division there. So I will. We will be back next week with the schedule reveal. That's what we've got on next week's shows. So look forward to that. But that's pretty much it for the division. So good division lining event. Nice change up compared to the previous few. So some good divisions there. So we now have divisions. So we don't quite have the schedule, but that doesn't matter too much. Obviously, we don't have anyone on our teams yet, but we can still make some predictions. For each team this year. It doesn't have to be I think they're going to go 8-6 or whatever because
and score 324.
Exactly, but it could just be something more off the beaten track or whatever you want. It can be bold, it can be a line drive, however you want it to be. We'll just start with the top team and go down here. So starting with bare necessities. maybe before we look forward, it would be good to see what happened in the last few years. So while I'm bringing that up, would anyone care to chuck in their first bold prediction for my dad's team for 2021?
Do we know where people are drafting as well?
Yes, so I can bring up that
a bit bold
as well. So I have updated the order on the website. So if you're using Fantasy Pros, this should now match, hopefully. So my dad is drafting. He's drafting number 11. I will just check because I did write that down.
Yeah, that is right.
There we go.
We saw the race.
we saw it.
Cool. Oh yeah. Recently watched. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So and then looking in the recent years for my dad's team. So drafting 11th this year. Obviously he's had 3 so years, 7 years, and a 6 and 8 year. He hasn't drafted in the 11th slot since 2015. He went 8 and 6. Sorry, he was 10th in the slot that year. That's the closest he's ever drafted. He went 8 and 6. So, predictions for my dad's team in 2021?
I think it's always good to draft at the end of the draft. So you get 2 solid players, if not anyone spectacular. But I do remember your dad taking maybe a tight end early, or he went for an interesting. Kelsey early. So yeah, I think he might go for him again. Actually, I think he's going to go for the scarce resource.
You look at the numbers. He is practically the equivalent of a bottom end wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 2.
So I think that'd be it. I think he'll take someone like Kelsey, and his first pick will be better than like a lot of other people's first picks, despite he's at the end of the draft.
Last year he obviously got scored on a ton, which was the main reason he did have that 6-8 record and made the playoffs. Under the new rules, he would have made the playoffs with the highest scoring team as the second wildcard, the highest scoring wildcard. That's my prediction for 21. I don't know how often you have 2 back-to-back highest scoring teams. We can take a look in the almanac that we have here.
Unlikely, I think.
Highest scoring teams. So I don't believe there's ever been a back-to-back one. There hasn't, but my dad has won it 3 times in his career. So if your money's on anyone, one of those years was 2009, and then 2015, 2020. So if your money's on anyone, that's when my money's going.
So what you're saying is the bold prediction is that this year he absolutely bombs out, barely scores any points, but manages to sneak in with an undeserved 10-win record.
Doesn't Ollie? No.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my dad's team. We'll go on to the dream team next then. So and we have you. Feel free to make a prediction for your own team.
I'll defer to these guys.
Predictions. He's going to trade his first pick to me.
Oh,
7th round.
He is drafting in the 10th
slot.
I'm just dropping some hints.
Viv is drafting in the 10th slot this year. If we look at your last few years, Viv, over here, so you've had 2 back-to-back 7 and 7 seasons last year. You again, as we covered on the review show last time around, you jumped out to I think a 6 and 2 record, and then lost pretty much every game down the stretch at bar 1, opening the door for Ross to come in, of course. So not the way you would have wanted the season to end, of course. I think a return to the playoffs is probably on the cards for you. You're there more often than not. You're basically Phil Light at this point.
Yeah, to be fair, I feel as though I lose steam later on in the season, in part due to some laziness checking away from whatever. But yeah, I would say, from what you said, looks like the other division's looking very strong. I think, well then again, I think Pat, this could be a good season for Pat. I've got a good feeling about Pat this year. But yeah, who knows, maybe I'll get lucky.
Yeah, sure. Any other predictions for Viv in the room?
Under threat from a new Eagles fan in the league, I reckon Viv's going to go all out and draft 3 different Eagles players.
Oh!
Just to prove his
loyalty.
Yeah.
I can't. The only one going highly is Miles Sanders and ADP at the moment.
I didn't say they were going to be high picks.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying he would be the higher one. 3rd round, I think his ADP is at the moment. Jalen Hurts is obviously kind of a mid-round pick at this point, and then I think Devonta Smith is
Dallas Goedert in the 14th.
Dallas Goedert, full victory, bigger Eagles tattoo than Dave. I'm coming home.
in the 14th. We don't even have a 14th round, so it's going to be a post-draft ad.
How many rounds do we have these days?
13.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Cheating already, I see.
Compensatory pick.
That is bold.
Create
my own round.
Yeah. Cool. So on to Ross's team then, the current champion, of course, who won the league with that stellarly drafted auto draft team and pretty much rode that the whole season, making some minor changes and obviously rearranging the team along the way. Ross is drafting or being auto drafted in the second spot this year. And then outside of last year, well, it's been a couple of good years for Ross's team. If we can find Southampton, I was 9-5 in 19, 8-6 last year. But before that, they'd never topped 7-7. So, predictions for Ross's team.
I reckon he drafts 6 players for himself in his fleeting bit before going back to auto draft, and then 4 of them are free agents by week 7.
Solid, yeah.
Not relevant, not just injured. They are.
Fully
do you mean he's cutting them as free agents?
He's going to cut.
I think the players themselves have become free agents.
No.
Okay.
I meant they will not be on Ross's team by week 7.
Okay. Yeah, I can have buy into
maybe elaborate trades.
Yeah.
Probably with Pat.
Yeah.
Pat likes trades.
Pat does like trades. Yeah.
Either way, not on his squad. Most of the players he drafts himself are not on his squad by mid-season.
I could believe that, yeah.
I can see him going top to bottom.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Last year, look at every other team had at least 5 or 6 starters be injured throughout the year.
Yeah.
Ross's team had none.
No
COVID players, no injuries, nothing.
I think he had a couple of weeks or something without Aaron Jones. That is as bad as
in which he had...
Yeah.
Because he didn't have any... If you look at like Ben's team, Pat's team, like, to be fair, you could literally pick on anyone's team and they had like all sorts, and I don't think that luck carries on 2 years in a row.
Sure. No, I agree. Yeah,
because even if it's not his players getting injured, it'll be other players not getting injured.
Yeah.
So teams which would have done all right last year.
And for you to hit on, I mean, effectively from the point of view of an auto draft, every one of those picks hit. That's what's very important.
I had the Aaron Jones combination the year before, and it did fuck all.
That's true.
He gets them and Rodgers throws for like 48 touchdowns.
That's
Jones was good the year before.
Yeah. No, that was going to be my prediction as well. Yeah, I can't see Ross making the playoffs again. He's made 2 straight years, to be fair to him. And he'll make, I won't reveal anything, but he makes quite a bold claim in his draft video. But you'll have to see what that is.
Oh, what a spoiler.
Also, prediction from, because I've always said it, this is going to be the most amusing draft video.
I have no doubt on that. And it's not even a bold prediction. It's not even a prediction video. Everyone knows he'll win. He's a shoo-in for the Ross non-comedy award again, I think.
Which we've since discovered no longer exists. It's a physical entity, but I suppose can still be awarded in spirit. Yeah. So on to Pat's team, then, the last Southampton division team. So Pat will be drafting at the top spot this year. I believe that is the first time Pat is drafted number 1 overall. If we can, there he is.
My prediction is Pat will not be drafting number 1 overall.
Oh,
where's Chris drafting?
So Chris is number 8 in the order. So you're predicting a Nathwani rule to give,
which I'll come back to on Chris.
Okay,
I'll come back. Yeah, right.
Okay, fine.
It gets more specific.
It is more specific.
So Pat made the playoffs. I think did he in 2016 or 2017? He had a 9-5 bracket. He must have made the playoffs one of those years. We've got the almanac here. Let's just take a quick look. Pat, he made it in 16 and 17. So he's not made it for a while. And ever since then, he's gone 2-12, 6-8, and 7-7. So not too far off the pace last year. Any bold predictions for Pat?
First 3 picks injured by week 3 after the season. At least his first pick. At least first pick going down game week 1 is GG. I don't know who number 1 is right now. Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know who people are thinking is the consensus number 1 pick.
It's McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, yeah. Don't even bother, Pat. Get a wide receiver, play it safe.
Pick number 1 if he's still there, based on Ollie. I think I could see another solid year on the cards for Pat. He just seems to be one of these coaches that is kind of always cursed. Like when he pulled off that trade with Ross for Devontae Adams, and Adams immediately got injured, and he gave away 3 players. So that was unfortunate to say the least. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
Pat will win a playoff game this year.
Oh, that's your prediction. So Pat will be in the not necessarily in the Corona Bowl, because if he's the wild card,
he will win his a playoff game, depending where he gets through in the wild card.
There you go. So we've got Pat making the playoffs, according to Ollie. Onto the Portsmouth division then. So we'll start with the team here. Gridiron Gang. So drafting 5th, I believe. Yeah, drafting 5th this year. Last season for me was a bit better, certainly, than the seasons before. 5-9 record last year. I could have sworn it was 6-8, but that says 5-9, so we'll go with it. And the 2 years before that, 2 back-to-back 3-11s after, again, a few good stretches before then. I've never drafted in the 5th slot before, so there you go. And last year was largely wrecked by pretty much my top 3 draft picks all getting injured in varying degrees. So, predictions for my team this year?
I'll say you make a rogue Tom Brady pick, and then it'll actually pay off.
Bring him home.
Yeah, you'll bring him home. Well, and yeah, I reckon you might sneak into the mix. I think going to the final week, it'll be Brady that'll carry you into the playoffs.
He'd love to specific.
Yeah, niche.
I reckon at some point, I'm not going to guess a week because no one can guess what Phil's ever going to do. But at some point, you will take advice from Phil, make a ridiculous roster pickup, and it will pay off handsomely.
I'll have another one.
Phil will win you again.
You'll do it another time, and Lucy Phil will also lose again.
That'll be the coronavirus.
Yeah, I'll get to the playoffs. Phil's presence on my team is enough to just completely ruin anything. But yeah, that's the one interesting thing that's never happened before in the LSC. That he is part of my team now. Obviously, he's not there in a coaching capacity. He's in an operations role, if you call it, so consultant, if you will.
Something vague.
Yeah.
He's a figurehead at best.
Yeah.
You tell him what
middle management.
Yeah.
Wheel him out for special occasions.
Exactly. Yeah. Go to the stuff where press conferences I can't be bothered to attend. Will Phil still be part of Gridiron Gang's team by the end of the season?
I mean, is he really now?
He's part of the operation.
That's a bold prediction. He defects to like a different team.
He takes over.
He just brings loads of teams. He defects to like that.
So we'll see how that dynamic goes. But on to the next one in Napolitan. So Dave Henderson's team, the new coach to the league. He is drafting in where is he? He is number 9 in the draft order this year. Obviously, we have no history on him, but he comes with a long and storied fantasy background, both normal leagues and dynasty. Predictions for Dave?
The first team to take a quarterback.
Interesting.
I'm not saying it'll be bad if he takes Mahomes.
No, I mean, I pick
enough.
number 9. That's pretty.
No, I think it'll be the second round.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
but I think that's sort of a spot where I expect him to go.
Not bad.
I don't expect the teams below that to jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's that first kind of. If say Pat or someone was down there, I expect maybe them to jump the gun on him more than the people who are down there.
Yeah.
But most people down there have never really got, from my memory, who's down there gone early on a quarterback.
Sure.
So
okay. So my prediction is that Dave will make the playoffs in his first year in the league. Somehow, I was just checking the stats to see if that's ever been done before. I think Ben did it in 2010 when he joined the league, but outside of that, other than the founding team, of course, I don't think anyone has ever done that. So that'll be the first rookie coach to make the playoffs since 2010.
Okay, added layer. I reckon he's going to challenge something which only the Stubbses ever seem to win, with most roster movements in a season. I reckon he's going to come out of nowhere.
That's a good. Yeah, I could see that too. He's very active. He might. You know what? I'm going to peg him. Prediction: he'll make 2 trades as well.
Pick one of the trades. Go on. Be bold.
Pick 2 random.
One will be for an Eagles player.
Yeah, I was going to say he'll try and get Jalen Hurts. That's who he'll pick up. And who's he going to trade away for that? Oof.
Can you imagine if this comes off?
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I called the safety on the Super Bowl.
Nate's going to draft Jalen Hurts.
And it'll be Tom Brady, and then both predictions might come true.
There you go. So Jalen Hurts for Tom Brady.
Excellent. Maybe you won't get to the playoffs.
On to the next team. Burdett is the next team here. So, Ollie, as you said, you did make the Corona Bowl last year. You're drafting in the 7th spot, so pretty much slap bang in the middle. This year, you also are not too distantly removed from your championship season in 2018, when you went 8-6 and won your second title as well. Obviously, between that, you had a 7-7 season. So, really, the last few years, you've been pretty solid. Bold predictions for Ollie's team.
I reckon, just looking at the league page there, I mean, long ago in LOC history, Ollie famously won the right to the grey helmet logo. There's now 2 again. I reckon there's going to be another grey helmet logo playoff, and I reckon Ollie's going to lose this time and have to make a logo.
Oh, that's bold.
We've already established. I'll get it up on Photoshop and move it like 1 pixel to the left.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure
my prediction would still be right. I'd be happy with that.
I've got the old grey logo helmet somewhere kicking
saved,
around.
yeah.
So you could always just upload the OG. That's my prediction. Ollie wills that out.
That's actually great. Yeah, I'm rooting for that.
Yeah.
Any other bold predictions for Ollie's team?
Something more related to like the league, maybe.
No, those predictions are absolutely fine.
I don't think I've made one record related
prediction.
He's drafting in the 7th spot. You know what? My prediction: Ollie's going to pull off a draft day trade. We don't really see them.
Have we ever had a like?
We have. I've traded with you.
Yeah,
once.
we have. I don't think since we.
Have we ever had a notable one? Like we've had mid-round later, haven't we? We've never had like a big one.
Yeah, I think so. And we obviously had back when we had the cubes and stuff, and you could trade draft picks.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I think we've had. I'm pretty sure we've had an on-day draft.
Yeah, I've done one with you.
I think I took Jason Witten.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so it's definitely happened. So
yeah,
I think we'll see that from Ollie.
For Jason Witten.
Sai Bremarama just scored, by the way, so his impressive start of the season continues.
It's the first game.
What is impressive?
Pre-season, continuing his good pre-season.
Gotcha.
Next team then, bucking the trend, they're at the bottom. So Mike, he will be drafting in the number 4th overall pick. Last few years, so he's only been in the league a couple of years. He had a 7-7 record the first year, 8-6 last year, narrowly missing out on the playoffs. What do we predict for Mike this year? I could see it being his first losing season.
Ooh.
Not to be too pessimistic, but the first year he very much got away with it because if we recall, he had the lowest points conceded, did not have a lot of points forward, but had quite a few gypsy wins as Chris.
He likes the phrase gypsy win.
Yeah,
and that's not really what you want as a
coach.
No,
you need to evolve from that. Because Ollie Gardner, he kind of had the same thing in his first year, but he's kind of leveled it up now and obviously made the playoffs himself last year. But yeah, well, I think Mike still can't quite get around that and actually has a losing record this year.
When was the last 2-12 record? Or when was the last devastating
you're
record?
not here to make any friends.
I'm just asking for a friend.
I went 3-11 in both 18 and 19. I think Pat went 2-12 in 18, and 2-12 is the worst record ever. I think.
Didn't Chris go 2-12 once as well, maybe? Or did he not?
Oh yeah, we've got it here. So sorry. Yes, he went 2-12 in 2014. I think my team famously opened the. I don't know if it was the 18 or 19 season, but with 9 straight losses one year. And then
didn't you and Pat both do that?
You were both closer.
Oh yeah,
it was who's going to win first.
I think you played each other, didn't you?
Let's have a look.
Oh yeah,
I think that's
did Pat win? Or?
I think Pat got the win.
I think I have vague memories of that. Yeah,
that sounds very familiar.
And I think Chris's historically bad season was because he traded away all his draft picks. So what's that?
Toby Gerhardt.
Toby Gerhardt, yeah.
Okay, so
who was on the other end of that trade?
GM Masterclass, that's what you call that. So yeah, it was 2018 where I went 0-9 for. And then he beat me in week 8, but we played each other in week 10, and I beat him in the reverse. So
you just agreed to be nice and get a win each.
That's what it appears to be on paper, but I don't recall it happening that way. But you were, actually no, Pat had won a game before that anyway. He won in week 5, but outside of that, his win against me, it was his second win. So
he was flying it.
Yeah. Anyway, any other predictions for bucking the trend? That's it, Mike. Nobody cares about your team. On to Fudge Flyers then. Bold predictions. Bold predictions. Bold prediction. No one cares about you.
And there's a lot of teams, and we're doing a lot of bold predictions.
We don't have a lot to go on right now.
The last division is going to be a wasteland.
Right, Fudge Flyers is the next one up then. So famously got Nathwani last year. Will he repay the favour to? Or will he get his own back either on Ben or someone else? He is drafting currently in the 8th slot. If he were to swap with Ben, it would be 6th. That's my prediction. Actually, I don't think he's going to leap up. I think he likes being right in the middle, so he's gonna repay
and he'll
Ben
enjoy swapping with Ben just to mess with Ben.
And ruin his spreadsheets.
I think he's
he
going to
prepared for it
leap
last year, Ben.
to take Derrick Henry.
He would probably have to get into, I would say, 3 safely to do that.
I'd say
Potentially 2.
Potentially
Yeah.
2. Potentially 2. Looking at Chris's last 3 years, so he was 9-5 last year, made the playoffs, but lost in the first round. Previously to that, 2019, he was 9-5, and obviously won. And he won a couple of years before that in 2017 at 11-3. So he's had a good few years, Chris, and he had 7-7 2018. So really a good 4-year stretch after obviously what came before that. Any other predictions from the room for Chris?
I think he will use the Nathwani rule, but I think he'll go back in the draft.
I
think he was going to look at it this year, because when he did win, it was a different sort of format, and you did need to get a running back early. But now, I think he'll take the 2 consistent players. So I would say me, Tom, and Dave are at risk of being Nathwani'd.
Nathwani at risk of being Nathwani.
It's coming back on you.
Come back to haunt me, Matt.
So suggesting
This is what happens when you make up rules, man.
Yeah.
They always come back to get you.
Yeah. Damn.
Okay, on to Iksan then. So Iksan, Ben.
All of his players get injured. Next.
That's the first prediction. Ben is drafting in the 6th slot. He had his first bad year, really, if you can call 6 and 8 bad. It's not great, I guess, but it's not the worst. His first bad year since 2012, when he also went 6 and 8. Between that, he's gone 9-5, 8-6, 4 years running, 7-7, and then 10-4 in 2019. He obviously picked up his championship, I believe, in 2016. So he's been on a pretty good run until last year. And yeah, famously last year he obviously dealt with a load of injuries and still nearly went 7-7 despite that. So predictions for Ben, other than all his players getting injured?
Was it last year that he drafted about 5 tight ends?
Yes.
He
drafted
no tight ends this year.
no time. Oh, it completely goes back in it.
He's reverted.
I was very surprised by that, because the way I changed my approach to the draft, with basically to just take consensus points and look at it that way. So I think I'm probably drafting closer to how Ben does, certainly than I used to. And looking at it that way, I couldn't understand why Ben made those picks, because it just didn't make sense based on the points that they would be projected to get.
This weighs in on my prediction. This is why no tight ends.
Yeah.
He's learned from his mistakes.
Yeah, I don't know how he got there in the first place. Maybe the spreadsheet had a glitch.
I back the spreadsheet. I think he's going to go to be... He might not win, but he'll be the top scorer in regular season.
Top scorer in the regular season?
Yeah, he'll sneak that 5th if he's not already in the mix.
Let's see if Ben has ever won the top scorer. He has never had a higher scoring team, so that would be the first highest scoring team for Ben. So there you go. Next then, Tom's Tyrants is the next up. So looking at the draft order, so Tom is drafting at the back end at number 12. Looking at the last few years, go back to the season stats here. So last year, Tom was in the hunt for the playoffs, but just about fell short at the end. Before that, you went 6 and 8. 2018, 10 and 4 which is when you lost to Ollie in the Corona Bowl, right on that. Philip Lindsay 7-yard
3
run,
yards, I believe
whatever it was, when he broke his wrist.
He broke his wrist after the run.
Yeah, and then obviously a couple of championships in 14 and 12. So bold predictions for Tom's team?
I think this year, Tom will start very strong, as opposed to the other way around.
That is about as bold as it gets for me.
Last year you did go 0-5. Obviously you're inducted into the Hall of Fame for your 2-5 start, and then turning it around to win the title in 2014, I think it was. So
I think you'll go like 7-0 or something. Which I guess doesn't happen that often, does it?
No,
I mean, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Win one more game, you're probably in.
I mean, they've been 6-2 and missed out. So that's all it's made up to be. Any other bold predictions for Tom?
He's going to draft Philip Lindsay, so that he can't be Philip Lindsay again.
I mean, I don't
Is
think there's any
anyone
chance
gonna
of
get
that.
Philip
Whether
Lindsay?
yeah.
He might do.
Wait, is it Houston?
Yeah.
You tell me a better running back on that roster than him at running the ball.
I don't care who's
Deshaun
running
Watson.
the ball for that offense. Yeah.
No, he's going to Eagles. They're going to have Hurts at quarterback.
You think he's going to go to the Eagles after signing a contract with Houston this season? To be fair, they did try and round the Cobb, but that was more about the Packers than
Yeah,
round
that's a
the
bit
Cobb.
weird.
Yeah, that was very strange. I predict that he'll have Matt Ryan. Have you ever had Matt Ryan in fantasy?
I'm
Yeah.
certain I've had Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
I think you've had
at
Matt
least
Ryan.
As
once.
a Falcons fan.
Yeah, I think he might have beaten me in one of the final, or sometime in a playoff game. I was like, you had Matt Ryan and Julio. I can't remember.
I'm going to Hans my
I do like playing you in
Yeah. I remember that
bit of imploding.
Yeah. I remember one time you conceded it and then won the next day or something.
That was the wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was I was.
That was classic.
Down and out.
Yeah. I don't know.
You proved me wrong.
This year you'll do a bib and start too fast.
I'm going to enhance my projection because you are at the 12, 13, 10. You're going to draft Calvin Ridley with one of those picks, and then you'll get Matt Ryan later on in the draft, and you'll go with the stack. Which Ollie did. Have you done that before?
That was the worst decision last year because Julio. You look at all his rate. He's always injured. Like he's always got some sort of injury designation.
Or something. Yeah.
Over the last 10 years, he's always been pretty much top 5. I draft him. He plays 5 games.
Yeah.
I'm not touching him again.
Yeah.
There's been another goal.
It sounds like
it.
My phone didn't. I guess it's a penalty awarded.
Better.
Yeah. And by the cheers, I would guess it's in.
It's not West Ham goal, is it?
And then finally, last team. Then you are gold. So last year he made the playoffs. I think was it last year he made the playoffs? Yeah. Last year he made the playoffs. Lost to Ross in the first round. In the draft order, he's number 3. Taking a look back at his season history. So first playoff appearance last year at 9-5, coming off a 5-9, 7-7 season, 6-8 before that. Not quite up to his first year of 2016 of 8-6. Bold predictions for Ollie Gardner's team this year.
I'm stuck. He has been slowly improving, so I definitely think playoffs are on the cards for him this year. He's drafting at 3, I want to say.
Yes. Yep.
So he could stand all us with all our past trophies in the Winchester division.
Yeah, and join the club.
The prediction I actually want to go for is that he's finally going to change the "You Are Gold" name on account of Robbie Gold not really doing much ever, and it will be Justin
certainly
Fields
not
related.
for Chicago. And that was leading on to my nice. I predict he will draft Justin Fields on draft day.
That's probably I feel like those two go together.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll wait it out because he's not going to want Andy Dalton. Let's face it. And based on how he played, albeit against the twos, he's looked very good, and it's.
Although I'm pretty sure I could have thrown that touchdown pass.
It was actually a West Ham.
It
sounds like it was a West Ham goal. Suchek scored.
Big game.
Any other predictions for Ollie Gardner's team?
I think that's a good one that you had. Yeah, I think Justin Fields. Yeah, I think that's.
He does love a rookie.
Yeah,
he does love drafting a rookie.
Yeah. I think it pays off this year as well. I think Justin Fields has actually had a solid season.
I could
doesn't get injured.
Yeah. Oh, and there was a penalty, but it was saved. Antonio had a penalty and it was saved.
Antonio.
Yeah, I know. He's in my team as well.
He got an assist. He got the assist for the second goal.
So even that.
Absolutely ruled out those points.
So that is the predictions for each of the teams. Do we have any other league-wide predictions that we would like to throw into the mix this year?
I'll say it's not going to be like last few years. It's been quite even.
Yeah.
I think this time there will be a pull-away leader and someone who's just out of it early, like a big loser early.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be very people fight like a 6-8, 7-7 team might get in basically.
Yeah.
I reckon we're going to have to default because the points for is sort of like if the people who make the playoffs are already there, it gets bumped down.
Yeah, correct.
I'm going to have to default that 3 times down.
Yeah.
I reckon the top 3 scoring teams are all going to be playoff teams anyway because that's 3 of those 4.
Yep.
And then it'll skip down just like
that.
Because I think the last few years the top scorer has not actually been. Well, it's certainly probably half the time the top scorer has not made the playoffs.
I think it's happens
probably about
more
half
often
the time.
it probably happens more often than you think. Yeah. So in terms of COVID view, so we are only going to have the 1 reserve spot this year. So even if COVID is a thing, you can only have. I mean, I think there's probably still be the COVID list, so you could still stash them. But obviously, you can only do it with the 1. No special rules. I do predict a team will get completely wiped out still by COVID in 1 week.
We should make a rule that if your player's not been vaccinated, they can't go on the COVID list. You'd have to keep them in your team.
Actually, I was going to enhance my prediction. Whoever owns Lamar Jackson will be the team that gets wiped out by COVID.
Oh, is he not having vaccines?
No, and he's had it twice now. So
a team of Jackson, Hopkins, and Cole Beasley.
What a team!
It's actually not a bad team.
Beasley?
Well, maybe not Beasley.
PPR monster, that's it. 24 catches for 24 yards.
So, unless we have any other bold predictions in the room? No, that's it. That'll be it for today's show. So we'll be back next week with the schedule reveal. I'll put that on the website. As I said, the draft order is all updated now, so you can get mock drafting based on that. What's on the site should pull through to Fantasy Pros if you like to use that platform as well. As I mentioned, draft day, 4th of September, the Saturday, will be 2.0 on it. And just to clarify, it will be at my house not being my parents' house, as in being my house. Just to clarify.
Alright, stop flexing, you got a house, Nate, everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's a very nice house, a lot of space.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That
you just
wasn't what
locked
I was
on?
fishing for.
Sorry?
You getting the suit out for it, or?
Well, I mean, it's draft
Usually
day.
by the blades,
Draft day, got to
yeah.
be done.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll join you this year then.
Maybe I can even, because it's,
Yeah.
I used to, I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, true, why not?
But with that, we will bid you a good rest of your Sunday. We're off to play test the board game, myself and Tom have created, so we haven't done a 4-player version
I'm
yet,
keen for it, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah,
we won't leave the podcast on because that'll be the longest podcast of all time.
Yeah, and let's face it, the pods are already pretty long as it is. With that, we will talk to you next time. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye.